Okay, so let's talk about the specific nodes. The first nodes I want to cover are these three nodes, which I called leaf nodes because, as I mentioned before, they don't tick any of their children. The first node I want to check is the condition node, so I'm gonna just add it to my tree. Oh, wait, there we go. And then if I click on it and I go to its information, it says that it returns the value of a bool method, which takes a game object and a string as parameters and has the conditional attribute. We'll see what this means. And it warns that it does not run any child. That's why I call them leaf nodes. Then it says that it succeeds when the condition, that is the Boolean method, uh, returns true, and failure when it returns false. And under normal conditions, it should never stay running for more than the frame where it's ticked. So the node, the details of the node are here, and the first thing you see is that it has a not option, and it's a Boolean value. And if I click on it, the word not appears on the editor next to the node, so that I know that this condition has this not option applied, and it simply reverses the value of the method. If the method returned true, then the node will fail, and vice versa. Now I have to give it a scriptable object which I call methods holder, where I have stored the methods that can be used as conditions. The library contains two scriptable objects, sorry, with different conditions you can test: the Koala standard conditions and the Koala input conditions. So let me check the Koala conditions first. So I'll put it here, and as soon as I put it there, I have this enum pop-up that gives me all the valid methods I can use to test the condition. So I can either return true, which will return true always, or return false, but I can also check if it's too low, too high, too much to the right or to the left, and this one, which I called health issues. And all these five methods test against information of the game object. The first four test against its transform, and the last one is comparing against this value called health in a Koala memory script. So let me just show you how these methods are implemented. So I'll quickly open this in my mono behavior, in my mono develop, sorry, and you can see that the script is first just a regular scriptable object, and I have added this attribute so that I can create it by going to my context create menu and create this one. And then notice that I'm using this namespace Koala BT, which stands for Koala Behavior Trees. And then each method has this attribute on the top, conditional, which is necessary for the node to find them inside the script. Then it has to return a Boolean, and it takes as arguments one game object and one string. This game object is provided by the node, and it refers to the game object that called this method. So, for example, if I want to check if my game object is too low, I check the game object's transform position, and then I check its y-axis, and then I parse this string so that I can put in the node which is the value that I should compare, and then I return either true or false. The method too high is exactly the same. Then for the too right and too left, I'm just checking against a different axis. And then the return false just returns false independently of the game object or the string, as well as the true. And finally, the health issues just takes the Koala memory script and the health value of it, which is a public value, and compares it to this number. If I don't want this to be hard-coded, I can simply put float parse s, and then I can write a parameter that I want to use. So if I go back to my node, you can see that it has this line here, which is the string that the script refers to. One final detail is that the methods have to be public in order for the node to find them correctly. And yeah, that's simply it. You just create your public bool methods and stick them in a standard scriptable object, and they take the game object and this string, and you can do whatever you want with them. The other scriptable object I have is this Koala Input, and this has checks for whether a key is down or a key is up, or if it's pressed, if any key is pressed, if any key is down. Then checks for the mouse buttons, and then for buttons that you define in your input settings, you can also check them here. And that's basically it. So this is what it's already implemented, but it should be really simple to implement your own conditions. Now, one last detail: as you saw in my Koala conditions, some of the just one method refers to this script, and this script actually, it's very simple. It's just a mono behavior with a public int variable health, and the idea is that you can edit this script to keep track of anything that your game object needs to be aware of. And also there are some actions, standard actions within the package, which will give this script coroutines to run. So when you add the Koala brain, the Koala memory is automatically added, and if I try to remove it, it will tell me that Koala brain depends on it, so I cannot remove it. And you can implement the specifics of your game inside the Koala memory, or you can create your own mono behavior scripts. So for example, for my play tag game, which I showcased before, I decided to make a different script which holds this boolean to find out whether the game object is it, and it has a public vector 3 where I store either the player's position or a random position to move to. So this choice whether you want to store your specific variables inside the Koala memory or in your own scripts, that's up to you. And yeah, that would be it about conditions. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. No, I think that's it. Just one thing. The standard Koala conditions, which I use just for debug, you can actually tick them on the editor and they work just fine. But these input conditions actually use the game's engine input system, so I cannot tick them inside the editor because these methods are referring to things that are inside the game engine. But if I run it, I can definitely use them. And for example, in this case, let me see if it runs. There we go. I have a format exception because I haven't filled the parameter with anything, and I'm asking for a mouse button pressed, so I have to give it an int to which of my mouse buttons I'm referring to. So I'll give it the left mouse button, and now if I run it, it should run properly. And each time I click my standard mouse, you can see that it reacts. Right now it's true because I have it negated, but if I click on that, if I click on this one, now only when I click on it, it will return true. Okay, so that's it for conditions. Next video we'll talk about actions. Thanks a lot, see you soon.